In this section, we're going to talk about a loop and really what a loop is. So we've touched a little bit on loops already in previous sections, but in this one, we're really going to dive into what is a loop and how it's used in Python. So a loop allows us to essentially loop over different variables, different items, different strings, numbers, right? A range of numbers. And while that condition is true or for the length of the loop, we can execute code on each different variable that we're looping over. So the two loops that we use in Python, the first one is a for loop, and then the second one is a while loop. So a for loop essentially allows us to loop over any list of items. For example, when we talked about our grocery list, we could loop over each item in the grocery list, and then we could execute code on each item. So let's just start off by, we're going to create a list, and we'll just call it players, okay? So we'll say players equals, and then we'll create our list with a square bracket. If we say Messi, and then add in a column, and then we'll say Ronaldo. Sorry, not a column, a comma. And then we'll add Neymar. And then for kicks and giggles, we'll add Jesse Lingard as well. Jesse Lingardinho, greatest player of all time. Just kidding, we're just going to say Jesse Lingard. And then close your list, okay? So go ahead and define that. And what a loop allows us to do then is, like we mentioned with the grocery list, we can go and we can take each element in this list and we can execute code on each element individually. And the loop will go through this entire list with a for loop. So to do a for loop, we use the word for. We say for player in players, and then put a colon, and then with our tab, our four spaces, it should just do this automatically in Jupyter Notebook. We're just going to say print player. So let's go into what the actual syntax of a for loop is and what's actually going on here. So we have our list players, right? So we have this whole list of player names, and then we're saying for players. So we're saying for each player in this player list, and we're calling player just a temporary variable. Okay, so on each iteration, player is going to be reassigned to whatever the object of the list that we're on. So it's really just going to go for player in players. So it's going to say, okay, first player, Messi, let's do this code right here. And then it's going to go to the next one. It's going to say, okay, Ronaldo, execute code, and so on, right? So if we run this, you kind of get an example. It just goes through the list and prints each one. That's really all there is to a for loop. You can do different things with a for loop, but that is essentially the basic syntax and execution of a for loop. It's also very common to loop over a range of numbers. So for example, we can say for x in range 5. So that's just going to, the range function is just going to create a range of numbers up to 5. We'll just say print x. So it did 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it didn't include 5 because it says up to 5. And then another common thing we do with for loops is we do nested for loops. So that means we can run a for loop inside of a for loop. And this is a little bit, more complex, but it is something that is very common to do in Python. And what we do is, let's say we have two lists. So we'll go back and let's just grab our player list again. So copy that, come down to this cell. And then let's create another list. We'll create our grocery store list this time, but we'll just call it fruits, okay? We're going to create a list of fruits, and we'll say apple, orange, and then banana. Okay. So what a nested for loops allows us to do is we can go and we can loop over this item, and then for each one of these items, we can then loop over this list. So to execute this, we have to do a first and outer for loop. So we'll say for x in players. So for each item in players, we then want to loop over this list. So we'll say for y in fruits. And once again, these can be whatever you want. They just can't be the same. So I can't say for X in players and for X in fruits, because then X is just going to keep getting reassigned to the fruit value. So then all we want to do is we just want to say print X and Y, like that. So as you can see, if we're looking at the output of this, we're saying K. It first looped over the players on the outer one, and then when it got to Messi, it looped over this fruits list and it printed apple, orange, banana. And then it went to Ronaldo, printed apple, orange, banana. Then it went to the next iteration of the outer for loop. Okay, you kind of get the point. So a nested for loop allows us to run multiple loops within lists, and it becomes really useful when we need to loop over two different lists. So now the other type of loop is actually called a while loop, and this is similar to a for loop, but a while loop will continue to loop over something until it is false, okay, until it reaches a Boolean of false. So that could be whether we reach the end of a list, it could be while, a condition, if we had an if statement, if it was less than 10. So what we'll do is we will create a while loop, and we'll just create a variable called I. So we say I equals 0, and then we just want to say while, so that's the syntax here. We say while I is less than 0, like that, or sorry, less than 10. And then we just want to print I, like that. And then with a while loop, if we don't do anything to I, because we have defined I already, this is not a temporary variable like it is in a for loop. So I, if we don't do anything to I, it's just going to run forever. Like if I were to run this, I'd have to shut down my kernel and my code, and I'd have to restart because it would just run forever. So what we need to do is we actually need to then add 1 on every iteration. So if we say I plus equals 1. So if we say plus equals 1, that means that after it prints I, it's going to basically add 1 to I, and then on the next iteration, I is going to be equal to 1, and then it'll just keep going until it gets to where I is no longer greater than 10. Okay? So this is basically a conditional, like an if statement. It's just evaluating this to see is it true or false. So let's go ahead and run that. And as you can see, it just went over I and it added 1 on each iteration of that while loop. So a while loop actually isn't as common as a for loop, especially when you're doing data analysis. You don't really need to be running something for a long time. You usually have a list of stuff, but it is good to know how each one works. The last little bit of loops that you need to know is 2 keywords that you can use within loops. And these usually are used with if statements to say, if this certain condition is met, then we're going to either use the break keyword or the continue keyword. So let's create a list of numbers using the range function. So if we say numbers equals range of 10, and then we'll use a for loop to loop over this list of numbers. So if we say for x in numbers, and then we can use if statements within our for loop. So if we say if x is equal to 7, then we want to use the break keyword. So break, what break is going to do is it is going to break out of the for loop. It will end right there and it will not continue with the rest of the numbers. So we should see that once we get to 7, it is going to break and not execute any more code. The other one is the continue keyword. So if we say elif x is equal to 3, we want to say continue. So what continue does is it says, okay, if this condition is met, or for if any reason we hit x is equal to 3, then we just want to continue. We don't want to execute any code, but we do want to continue on with the list. So the big difference between break and continue, break, we completely exit out of the loop. We no longer execute past that item in the list. A continue will just continue on and not do anything below the continue, right? So then at the end of all of this, we will say print x, like that. So just make sure you have your indentation right on all of these. You need 4 and then this one is 4 from here. If we run this, we should get the numbers 0, 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 6, because we have if x is equal to 3, we don't want to print x, we're just going to continue on. And if it is equal to 7, we're going to completely stop. So let's see what happens. And there we go. We have 0, 1, 2, and 4, 5, 6. So that's all there really is to loops. It's very simple. It can be a little bit difficult to understand, especially if you're not coming from a coding background and you're just trying to learn coding. But they are very important, and you will see them basically everywhere, whether it's in data analysis, data engineering, data science. You're always going to be using these loops, so it's something that's really important to grasp and practice. So that's it for loops. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section.